morning, everybody. We are back. It's almost like a pop-up show these days. It's almost like a pop-up show these days, but not really. Jeff, how are we doing today, buddy?
I'm good. I'm trying to make sure my son's computer is telling me it's about to restart, so I'm hoping that that's not actually happening.
Yeah, just click no, Jeff.
Right.
Old people and technology, guys. Old people and technology. It's one of those things. Oh boy, it's good to be back. It's good to be back in front of the camera. Good to be back in front of the millions of people watching worldwide.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good. It's good, Jeff.
Yeah, riffing on a Wednesday. Here we are. What's going on with you? Everything good?
Yeah. Obviously we had a little issues, a little scare with our big boy. Not to get too far into it, but he's doing much better now. He's still on the mends. We're not out of the woods yet, but he is a 12-year-old dog, and 12-year-old dogs are going to 12-year-old dog stuff. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, we're good, and that's all that we can ask for. God is good. God is great, always. And he's helping out my big boy and getting us back on track so we can be here and discussing some NBA playoffs and other things with you. How are things on the home front?
Yeah, good. I mean, kids' last day of school is today for school, so
thank goodness.
They're done. No more school until in the summer. My kids have a lot of stuff to look forward to, taking some cruises with grandparents, and then I was mentioning to you we were buying Kanye West tickets because he's coming over to Tampa next month, so that should be good. And then we're off to Brazil in September. So just
nice.
Little light stuff planned going on. And for me, I've just been kind of laying low. I got to play some poker last night, take down another tournament over there at Backstage Billiards. They do a $200 cash tournament on Tuesdays over at Backstage. I'm not really sure how, but they do. And so it's good to win for the third time.
Not too bad. Jerry, do you have like a rotating background going on or something?
Not really sure. I have noticed
it go between three different. Yeah, it's been like changing. It went black, it went blue. Now we're at this beautiful looking green. I don't mind. I was like weird. Every time I was looking at Jeff's beautiful face, see there it changed again.
I did that though.
So this is Jeff being Jeff. Okay, Jeff's in the background. Jeff's trying to be the producer.
Okay.
Know your role, Jeffrey. Know your role.
I guess I'll shut up.
All right, let's get it on. Let's talk a little bit of NBA playoffs, Jeff. We haven't been back in quite a while, or we haven't been here in quite a while. We did miss a lot of stuff. We're going to skip over a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff here. Let's just jump right into the Eastern Conference. The New York Knicks, since faltering to the Atlanta Hawks, have come back with a vengeance. I do believe where they ripped off 13 straight. Definitely looking like the team to beat. And we'll get into that a little bit. I always said on the other shows that I thought that the West was going to be the team to beat. I don't know so much for so much. We're getting to that in a second. But Jeff, how impressive has the New York Knicks been in this NBA postseason?
I think Nick Wright had a rant that he did. I think it was yesterday, and he was talking about how the New York Knicks are not the best Warriors team of all time, or they're not the 96 Bulls, and they're not the these Spurs or whatever. He went down a list of like the greatest teams you could ever assemble, but in this playoffs they have better whatever metrics than all of those teams actually. So what they're doing is historic and unprecedented. It's something that we have not seen, and it's not like they're beating scrubs. I mean, they're beating legitimate teams. I mean, you could say Philly was a little bit of a walking wounded, but I mean, that Atlanta team I thought was as good as anything that we had in the East. They, after the going down 2-1, they just absolutely ripped them. They ripped the Sixers. Now they ripped the Cavs. And now they're just sitting there kind of laying in wait. And I think they match up really well. It's funny too. We were talking about this. Could this be the first time in the history of the Knicks or any New York team that they are like America's underdog and sweetheart? Like we were talking about it yesterday. I think the only other thing you can imagine was when the Giants were playing the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl, where a lot of people were probably rooting for them. But other than that, New York does not have the vote of the entire country or the world rooting behind them for the most part. So this is just unprecedented times. And if they pull the Oklahoma City Thunder, I can imagine that 70% of the people are going to be rooting for the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, to your absolute point, I think there's something that hasn't done since like 1950 or something like that, or the 70s, stuff like that. And it's just the blowout and the margin that they're winning by. And the Cleveland Cavaliers put up a good fight for a couple games, and then it was just the turbos came on. Now, whether that was the wearing down of the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I say it again, and we'll talk about this even more. Playoff basketball is a different basketball, and after watching obviously all of the playoffs, I can't say I enjoy it. I will say that, and we'll get into that a little bit more on the Western Conference side, because this is where it's going to become a little bit more visible. But the physicality and the things that are called and not called across the board are just absolutely egregious. And again, I'm going to glare that more on the Western Coast side, because I feel like there's more stuff going on there. But just the fouls that are called versus not called, the complaining of the non-calls, the lack of hustle, getting up and down the court. I think that whatever happens, the New York Knicks are sitting in the driver's seat, and I don't care who they play. In my opinion, they should be favored to win the NBA championship. I mean, they're done. They're sitting home. More than likely, the West is going to go to 7. And they're just sitting there, and they put a lot together. And I was one of the ones that kind of was like questioning, when Tibbs got fired, right? Like, hey, he took him there. Of course, I'm kind of a Tibbs homer, I guess, because it's time with the Bulls, even though he didn't really do that good. I just always respected his tenacity and his demand for defense, I guess, is where my love of Tibbs came, because he demanded that you play defense on, as well as offense. But man, Mike Brown's got these Knicks looking like a completely different team. The offensive production is off the charts. The defense isn't necessarily stellar, but it's good enough, and especially when you're getting those kind of looks. I mean, what a time to be in New York, huh? I mean,
so
to look for lately.
I will say number 1 rated playoff defense, though, so far in these finals, or so far in these playoffs.
Eastern, right?
I think that's overall for both sides. Yeah, I agree. It's been incredibly tough to bet on. The basketball has been really tough to bet on. It's been blowouts after blowouts after blowouts. It seems like in every game. And even on the West side, right? We had this incredible game 1 where Victor Wembanyama maybe puts up one of the most impressive games that I can ever remember as a basketball fan, just watching something subjectively, where he's just incredible and he's unstoppable. And it was beautiful to watch. He pulls up that 3 at the end. I always say this too. His rim awareness is something that I've don't think I've ever seen from a big man as well. The way that Wemby is able to go up, catch lobs, never bring the ball back down, just reach up and dunk the ball. It's truly incredible. Even, Shaq in his prime, when he would catch the ball, it was always he would usually bring it down. Sometimes he would keep it up, but it wasn't this beautiful and poetic and artistic, and it was incredible to watch. Now we've seen the past after that game 1. I don't think Wemby has lost any of his aggression, but it seems like Oklahoma City has figured out a way to allow his aggression to be a deterrent instead of a positive factor for him. They're kind of using it against him in a feng shui way. I feel like that's got him out of rhythm and out of sorts somehow. And then they're just shooting the lights out, depending on who's at home. So we saw that, OKC does nothing in game 4 against the Spurs, and then comes out game 5 at home, and they were just unstoppable last night. So it's been a really weird series back and forth. To touch on your point you were saying about whoever the Knicks play, they should be favored. Look ahead lines, I believe, if they play the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are plus 350 to win the NBA Finals. If they play the San Antonio Spurs, they are plus 300. So you're getting a great number there, in my opinion. Either way, with whoever they get, the disrespect is real.
I will say, the Wemby did have a great game, and they did start to change him. Obviously, I've watched more Wemby during these finals or playoffs than I ever have, and Wemby looks like the wacky, wavy, inflatable arm guy out there. Like, he is flopping all around the floor. And let's be honest. Also, you kind of mentioned Shaq and some other guys. That guy is not a center. He's like an 8-foot power forward. I mean, he's bringing the ball up the floor. He's taking spot up threes. And to be a real center, in my opinion, you got to have some girth. And to your point, the Oklahoma City just said, nah, we're just going to beat the shit out of you. And they have literally just leaned on him and wore him down. And this is where I got into the officiating, man. And obviously, you know, I like to see Wemby do well. One, I just don't like the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't like Shea, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I wanted to see, you know, Wemby, you know, it's a generational thing, and he's a freak, right? That's why he's called the alien. But the amount of time that Harkenstein and was just literally grabbing this man, holding him, the amount of times that he gets hip checked, shoulder checked, gets pulled to the ground, that does not get called. And then Shea Gilgeous-Alexander comes in and offensively throws his forearm to push the defender away, puts up the shot, gets whispered on, and gets called with the foul is, to me, just absolutely egregious. I think SGA is a very pure shooter. Every time he puts the ball up, you think it's going in. But the way that he is a 2-time MVP, and maybe that's why you're getting these calls, right? But to see the way that the Oklahoma City Thunder are playing Victor Wembanyama and literally just beating the shit out of him whenever he's on the court, and nothing, almost nothing, getting called ever, is to me swaying this series. And you can see it. You can see it on it. Stephon Castle can only do so much. De'Aaron Fox, or is it De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox, you know, he's back a little bit, but, you know, it's a Wemby show. And the guy's tired, man. You can see it. And to your point about this game or the other, it seems like it's just every other game. Not that they're taking a game off, but it does look like every other game. Like each team has just a little bit more energy, a little bit more aggression, and they're being able to win these games. It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. But I really don't like it. I'll tell you, I like it. I like playoff basketball. I do like a little bit of physicality. But what I'm seeing out of this Western Conference is absolutely egregious. And the fact, again, the disrespect that Wemby is getting, I mean, the guy's getting held Harkenstein has his arm looped up and holding him, and he's going up with one arm, and you can literally see it. And the refs are standing right there, and they don't call shit. It's just wild to me, man. But like I said, then Shea Alexander comes in, throws the arm to push off. The defender goes back. The defender comes up, and he still gets called with the foul. Now, again, you're a 2-time MVP. I guess you're going to get those calls. But when we talk about the Caitlin Clark stuff and being the face of the NBA, and let's be honest, Victor Wembanyama is the face of the NBA worldwide. You know, obviously you still have LeBron and some in SGA, but at the end of the day, I mean, the dude gets 0 calls, in my opinion. 0 calls.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, too, that bothered me about SGA winning MVP is that you can say whatever you want. You watch that game 1, they pull SGA off the court in late game situations because of his defense. And if we're going to talk about the most valuable player for a team, I'm going to take the guy who literally changes the entire game when he's on the court, who's defensive player of the year as well, too, and also up there in all the offensive metrics as well. So yeah, I thought SGA getting MVP was a little out of pocket for me. But here we are. You know, SGA does his thing. His style of basketball, I was saying yesterday, it seems like everybody on OKC has gone to ballet school. Just the way that they play the game, and they I don't know. It's
I like
different.
The internet calling SGA the new LaFlop. I think LeBron's losing the title, dude.
I'm gonna move past that.
He's the flopper.
The whole NBA flops, Tyson.
Yeah,
NBA flops.
But there's only a few of them that get the calls. I don't know. What do we got? We got tonight?
Like I was saying, I think this all started with James Harden. I think he was the originator of a lot of this stuff. It was the year after Zaza Pachulia, you know, takes up Kawhi's space in the playoffs, and that is the catalyst that pretty much ended the Spurs run at the time and started to propel the Golden State run right then. But and then Harden really exposed the rule the very next year, and everybody then has just built off of it. Just like the Euro step now, you know, like what does it travel? What does it gather? You know, like what does
it carry?
We've jumped the shark so hard on some of these things that it's just tough. It's like prices right now. They've gone so far one way. Can you ever really put them back in? Same thing with these rules. Can you ever really clean this up? I'm not
I
really
agree.
sure.
I agree 100%.
Do you think Thunder Spurs will go to a game 7?
I
Or do you think
so.
it's over?
I think if you look at, just like I said, it's every other game. It's literally every other game. I don't know. It's gonna be how good Wemby is, man. How much treatment can he get? You know, I put that out there as well. I mean, like I said, he's like what? He's like 7'7", 7'8", something like that.
Oh, Wemby?
Yeah.
He's 7'5", but I thought he's 7'5". Jeremy says 7'4", whatever. I know he's got like his wingspan is ridiculous as well too.
Okay, so you're 7'4", but you don't have a post game.
You can't get the ball.
When is he in the post? Every time I see him get the ball, he's at the 3-point line trying to James Harden dink and dunk and dribble and between the legs.
There's a reason that they can put Alex Caruso on him on defense.
This is what I'm saying.
And let him run around. So
it's just wild to me. You have a 7'4" guy that can't play in the post. Like, you can't get him down in the post. He shouldn't be coming up for the screen at the top of the key, in my opinion. I mean, because at the end of the day, to your point, when you talk about the aggression, when he does get it there, he does and he tries to drive. He does that flailing spin move, right, which covers up about 15 feet of the court because of how big he is. And then he's literally coming right into everybody. I thought where I was talking about. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought the Spurs missed a huge opportunity last night. It just seemed like the sense of urgency was more there for Oklahoma City, knowing the moment and knowing how big that game 5 is. It's such a pivotal game, especially when it's 2-2, because the team that goes up 3-2, you only got to win one of the next 2. You're going to get one of them at home. It's such an important game. And yeah, it was a little disappointing to see the way that San Antonio came out.
I just don't like the way they use it. But again, it's hard to put a guy in a post when Hartenstein can literally just push him out of the post. Yeah. And that's what you saw numerous times. I mean, I saw guys literally with 2 hands on his back pushing him out. Hell, Caruso was pushing him out. I don't know what you do with that. I don't know. Can you consume enough calories when you're that large to put on weight? I mean, what, Jeremy? How much does he weigh? 220?
No, 200. He's got to be way more than that.
I bet he's not, dude. He looks like he blows away like a feather in the wind, and that's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah, but you got to think, bro. He's 7'4". I mean,
it's a lot of bone density. I get it.
Yeah,
but I mean, at the end of the day, 7'4", you got to be like 290.
He's what is that? 260. 230.
230. 236. Jeff, I'm 236.
I mean, I don't know why anyway.
What do you mean? That's the whole point of what I'm saying about I'm 236. This dude is getting bullied in the paint, and he can't play in the paint because he's 236. That's crazy.
I mean, he should be. I don't know. Just the way he affected the game in game 1, I've just been shocked to not see it.
But we haven't seen it since because again, like I said, they adjusted it and they push him out of the paint anytime he's down there. You know, Jeff, real quick on the Cavalier side, were you surprised that they retained their head coach after that debacle? And I mean, I don't know if I'm sure you heard. Analytically, we won 2 of these games.
I don't know what the Cavs do. Series. Well, no, but what I'm saying is that
they could always change their mind.
What I'm saying is that Kenny Atkinson, a well-respected coach around the league, obviously came in to replace JB Bickerstaff, who moved on and went to Detroit. And they handpicked Kenny Atkinson to be in this job. I don't know where they go because I felt like what I watched from the Cavs was they were discouraged a lot. It seemed like they got to a point where they were done. Sorry. They had, like Donovan Mitchell got sat in the third quarter of game 3, went down. And when that happened, it just felt like there was no more fight left in Donovan Mitchell. Now I know that he came back in game 4, whatever, and had 31 points in 3 quarters and so on and so forth, and that's great. But for me, it just seemed like his body language, his demeanor was not well. And so what do you do? You're like the highest, I think, one of the highest paid rosters in the entire NBA.
Which is
You
also rumored James Harden's coming back next year.
Right. I mean, so what is his option? Is it a player option or is it a team
Player
option?
$42.3 million
Right.
player
So
option.
James Harden, I'm assuming, opts back into that deal.
Of course he is. Nobody's going to pay him that.
So he opts in, and now what do you do? You know, like, do you say, let's just run it back for this 1 year and see if this works for an entire year instead of just working for half the year when you made the trade, and trying to kind of piece it together? It's tough. And if I was the Cleveland Cavaliers, I do not envy the position or situation that they are in whatsoever. But talent wise, you look across their roster, they should be a lot better. But they made some interesting moves, right? Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder at the deadline, getting Harden. Those are all good moves if you're really trying to put together a run to the NBA Finals. It seems like they're very far away from that right now.
Does LeBron go home, Jeffrey?
It's funny because I think the one thing that they are missing is a 3. If you look at the way that their roster is set up, the problem is that they don't have the cap. There's no way
he's not going to take a discount.
He's not going to go take a veteran minimum to go play in Cleveland for 1 more year. And so I think the most likely spot that LeBron ends up is back in LA. And they work something out for 1 year and 20 million or whatever it is. And he does that.
Think he'll take 20 million either.
I think he will. I think he'll do that because what are his other options?
The Cavs can't come up with 20 million?
I don't think so. And
wow.
I'd
be canceling James Harden. I'm sorry, James. That player option is now off the table. We live in a different world than we did 30 seconds ago.
The problem is who do you want to give away to replace them with LeBron at this point? Do you want to give away an Evan Mobley? Do you want to give away a Donovan Mitchell? Do you want to give away a Jared Allen? Those are all no's. And so
the easiest switch would be to get rid of Harden. Harden for James.
Right, but that's not feasible. Nobody's just taking James Harden for free. For
maybe
fun.
They go to him and say, James, yes, you do have a player's option, but we don't want you, dude. We don't want you. If you want to have your agent go out and look at it, we'll look at doing like a sign and trade, maybe if you can find somebody, but we really don't want you, dude.
Well, he would have to opt out, and then he would have to do a sign and trade on a reworked deal. Now, maybe if they could get him to opt out and say, listen, you opt out, we'll backload this contract and we'll sign you to 4 years or whatever, to create some cap space for this year.
Oh, sure. 2 year. Okay.
Maybe.
2 year.
Maybe he could do that.
That would be interesting if you were able to restructure that and keep Harden. So now you'd have Harden, Mitchell, James, Mobley. And I don't who's the guy with the afro? Allen. I like Allen, man.
Jared Allen. Yeah.
He plays hard. I like that. Although, when it came down to crunch time, he was sitting on the bench. But every time I saw him in there, he was playing hard, getting boards, rebounds, making some shots. I didn't understand why they were sitting him at the end, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm obviously basketball illiterate.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see some big moves happening from the Cavs standpoint, though, next year. And I don't know if I don't think the LeBron thing's going to happen. I just don't.
It'd be a nice storyline.
We were joking about this. At this point, LeBron still has 4 years of college eligibility, right? Like, considering where we're at with NIL, like, could LeBron just say, I'm going to go to Arizona and play a year with Bryce to play with my other son?
Did you see Todd Golden came out criticizing that? I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Arkansas or Texas A&M, one of the two. He came out and he's like, what are we doing here? Like, this is not, because they were going
guys
after.
Who played years in the NBA, or like, I'm going to go back to college, and they'd kick the tires again. It's like,
I saw it this morning when Paul Feinbaum was on Get Up this morning, because they were talking about the SEC and Kirby Smart's remarks as far as if they can't get it right, then maybe we'll just do our own conference and just do our own thing. We got enough money to do it.
The problem is nothing will change until they get some kind of federal ruling that has to come
right. And that's but Paul Feinbaum was just talking about the NCAA is the most corrupt organization on the history of the earth.
Yeah.
Like nothing's going to change. Nothing.
And right now they're all making so much money hand over fist that why would they change it? They could care less about any kid, anybody who's a fan, any of that stuff. They could give two shits about you. It is about them making money, and that is it. And they're going to continue to do it until the federal government steps in and says this is absurd. Which I don't even know if I want. Like, I don't know if I want the federal government overreaching that much into different things. You know, I'm somebody who wants less government in a lot of stuff. I who knows, man?
Yeah. Speaking of Florida, real quick, I don't know if you saw the College World Series for the ladies.
I put it in the private chat. I said, should we touch on Florida softball?
I figured you'd, of course, want to talk about this. But yeah,
I have a lot of questions because I feel like it's such an incomplete story, right? We only have one half of the story, which is that the girl who leaves Florida, you know, who is the daughter of Jason Williams, who
revered athlete, right?
Is a revered athlete. People say he's a University of Florida legend. I don't look at him as a University of Florida legend. I look at him as somebody who played.
He's definitely not a legend.
Right. And that was the headlines of when all this stuff came out about it. And so, listen, the fact that she gets hit 5 times, I think a few of those, she crowds the plate a little bit. I don't think they were intentional. I think maybe a couple were a brush back that might have gotten a little out of hand. But the fact that she smacks the home runs, she runs her mouth, the whole situation with him and an elderly person, some 80-year-old touching somebody else and people getting thrown at, the whole thing is super messy. My entire question, and the reason I say this story is all incomplete, is because why did she leave UF? That's the story that I want to know. What was the basis and the antithesis behind her not wanting to be at the University of Florida anymore? What was the falling out? Because what I've seen on Twitter, and especially from Gator Twitter, which I do follow, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend like some of these guys I don't pay attention to. But they were like hinting that there was some story that hasn't been told about why she didn't come back to UF, and that the Gators are taking the high road by not telling the story. And so I also feel like
I'm looking right now. There's literally nothing on why she left.
And that's my entire question is like, what was the story behind her? She was dominant at UF, right? And I know Texas Tech is like, they have got, we mentioned it in college football last year, the most NIL in all of college. You look at what they're doing in basketball, and you know, now we're moving on to women's softball. They've always been good in men's baseball.
This is what I have, Jeff. This is what I come up with.
Okay.
Mia Williams transferred from Florida to Texas Tech due to unhappiness with the program and coaching staff's management, an issue compounded by her mother's public social media criticism. She also cited a desire to play alongside close friends such as third baseman Taylor Pannell. Yeah, that's really about it. That's it. That's all that we can
say. Close friends, is that like just friends, or is that like maybe
maybe just her? Let's be honest. It was probably money. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
It's like what's her name? What was her name? The first pick, Fudd, right? Fudd getting drafted number 1 overall after being Paige Becker's girlfriend for multiple years, and I don't feel like that story that like we didn't even talk about that. Right, Addie Fudd,
because we try not to talk about WNBA.
Dated Paige Beckers for 2 years, like who was considered like a top 13 draft choice in the WNBA draft, ends up going number 1 overall to Dallas to play alongside Paige, her girlfriend. Just kind of a wild thing. WNBA
is
like has so much going on. Like I that's why I swear to God, a WNBA podcast would be so messy. God,
it would be like the Real Housewives.
It's exactly what I'm saying. It's like reality TV that plays out right in front of you. You're like, you can watch a game and be like, yo, that's her ex she just crossed up, you know.
Mia's demanding a trade after a bad sexual episode.
Bro, what was the girl who played with Caitlin Clark last year? Bonner, right? She went,
Boner.
she left in free Adrian Bonner or something like that. I forget her first name, but she left Phoenix Mercury, went to the Indiana Fever, right? Was a big free agent signing for them. Was supposed to be really good. Her girlfriend was still on Phoenix. So like halfway through the season, she just left She just left the Fever, and they cut her, and everybody in the WNBA know not to pick her up except for the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns claimed her, and now she's back. It's a wild,
Yeah, female
wild.
sports are wild, but yeah,
Wild.
back to the Florida incident.
Yeah.
So yes, she gets beamed, she hits the walk off. That's it. Florida knocked out, and Florida just goes back to the dugout. And then Texas Tech obviously tried to come out to shake hands while they were running their mouth, I will add. And then they just go back in the back. Now, the coach was asked about it. He's like, I didn't really think anything of it. And then at the end, he's like, probably better that they didn't go out there anyway. But then he was asked about the pitches, and I did see him say, he goes, we're not trying to hit anybody. We're trying to win a baseball game or a softball game. Like, they were accidental. We're not going out there. But anyway, so then, of course,
I'll give you 2 of them were accidental.
The first one maybe was probably a bean, but whatever. You run your mouth and you get bean. That's fine. Then you move on. But to your point, if she crowds the plate, never know. I mean, it is one of those things. They should have hit her the 6th time instead of giving up the home run. And maybe that's just their way of walking her. Hey, I'm all for it. Whatever.
Do you have a problem with Jason Williams saying that he'll never step foot on Florida's campus ever again?
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Unless...
Jason Williams apparently gets into an argument with a bunch of fans in the stands, whatever. And then he comes out and says, fuck Florida on Twitter. And of course, the Florida Twitter universe says that, like, whatever, like who, okay, great. See you later. And then I didn't know, what were you saying about him never stepping foot on the campus again?
He was on, he's a Barstool employee, and he was on Wake Up Barstool, which is on Fox Sports, FS1, I believe. They have a morning show they do there, and he was on there, and they were asking him about the situation. He just said, I'll never step foot on Florida's campus ever again unless my daughter plays there again. I guess he's got another daughter who's coming up in the ranks as well, too.
Well, what a shitty spot for her if she wanted to go to Florida, because she ain't gonna be welcome there, and he most certainly is not gonna be welcome there. You can't. I'm sorry. There's a way to handle things, and if you don't know who Jason Williams is, just look him up, and you can kind of put a couple together. A couple things together.
One of my favorite basketball players of all time.
Not surprised whatsoever. Right up your alley. But you can tell he likes to talk shit, and okay, so that's fine. You cannot, especially the Florida, right? I mean, to your point, he's not a legend, but he is well revered, right? And the Florida faithful appreciate him, and he's not. I'm not going to say he's godlike on the campus, but he could probably do. He's not necessarily Tebow level, but he's welcome, right? And he can do some things on the campus. You can't come out and say fuck Florida as a college in general, especially when you have another daughter coming up that might want to play there. I mean, ostracized, dude. Send him out to the tar pits. It's called in all kinds of weather. Now, I realize that doesn't mean anything anymore with NIL and paycheck players, but he grew up at a time, and he was at Florida time when it was about the Gators. It was about the colors. It was about the culture, and it was about playing for the school. So you don't get any passes. If you don't want to step foot on there, fine. And if you try to, if your other daughter tries to go there, it's just not going to go good for you until you issue some type of an apology. Now, an apology doesn't look like, this, that, and the other. The apology is just, listen, we had some bad interactions with fans. When I said fuck Florida, I meant fuck those specific fans. They didn't, they were talking shit, and that's it, that, and the other. You can't just put the whole college on blast. But anyway, I digress.
I listen, I've been through this with Florida State FSU athletes as well, too.
Went to it not too long ago with Deion, right? Didn't Deion say something like he would never go back to Florida State or something of that nature?
Yeah.
And Deion, I would say, was more iconic than this guy. Speaking of being an idiot, Jeffrey, breaking news yesterday, Josh Jacobs is trying the Ray Rice approach to his career.
Yeah, interesting. I saw there was a choking allegation or something like that.
Choking, beating. Was there theft as well in there? I mean, let's just bring up all of the charges here. Josh Jacobs. Charges.
Also, let's also preface this with everything right now is alleged. He has not been
we don't have the Ray Rice video yet.
convicted of anything so far. So, and here in the United States of America, you are innocent until proven guilty.
Yes, but not in social media and not in the public opinions.
Oh.
I mean, especially when it comes to something like this, you are absolutely guilty until proven innocent. And that's just the world we live in. Jeremy, can you find me a link to the actual charges? I just get here's my one. Strangulation, assault, and 4 misdemeanors. Why can I not find this? It should be everywhere. Oh, here we go. Strangulation and suffocation, felony, battery, misdemeanor, domestic abuse, criminal damage to property, misdemeanor, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, misdemeanor, domestic abuse, intimidation of a victim, misdemeanor. There you go. I can't remember which one I was on. One of my sports car groups were like, well, I hope you didn't invest in Josh Jacobs. And I simply commented, it's the NFL. He'll be there week 1. This is just another day. And then, of course, people brought up the Ray Rice incident. And I'm like, nah, the Ray Rice incident is different because it was all on camera and we saw what he did. This is all alleged.
Yeah. The Rashee Rice thing too, right? Guy's going to do 30 days right now.
While trying to rehab.
Is wild as well too. Like you can't pass a drug test for weed.
Is that what he
doing, brother?
Is that so? Was he on probation and then got drug tested? And
he's on probation. Happened? He failed his drug test and they sent him to jail for 30 days.
I mean, guys, I just, you know what? There's a lot of things you could say in regards to this thing.
Brother.
There's a lot of dark roads you could go down and point fingers and stuff. But my goodness, especially now with NIL and these young men making millions of dollars, where are your parents? Where are the people that are surrounding you? Where are the people that are helping you make good decisions? Because to your point, for the love of God, you can't go 60 days, 6 months without smoking weed. And honestly, you shouldn't be smoking weed anyway because it's part of the NFL drug testing policy. Like, here's my goodness.
Other issue too. He's in a contract year. You know, he's making like 1.25 million this year or something like that. Like, it's something absurd. Like he's making like a minimum NFL salary this year because he's in a contract year waiting on an extension. And then you get on probation, which they did you a favor by putting you on probation. And they put you on probation and you fail your probation. So they give you the original sentence, which is going to be 30 days.
Just dumb, man. You have an opportunity to create generational wealth. You've been gifted with a amazing talent. Not only did you have the talent, you had the work ethic to put it in to create what you are now. And you got a shot at the dream, an NFL player, a wide receiver, where if you're at the top of your league, you're at $40 to $50 million a year. And you can't stop smoking weed. You can't stop fleeing an accident. You can't stop drinking and driving. You can't stop beating your girlfriend. You can't stop kicking your dog. You can't stop flashing guns. You can't stop hanging out with your friends that are bad influences. Like, fuck's sake, man. Get some help, people. Where's the family? Where's your family? Where are the people that are looking out for you, man? Where's your agent? Where's your lawyer? Where's Jesus? Read your Bible, bro. Pray. My goodness. It's just such disheartening, man, when you see these guys put in all of this work, get to the level and be not necessarily handed the keys to the kingdom, but the road is right in front of you. Just tap the gas. Just tap the gas. That's all you got to do. I don't know. What are you going to do, Jeffrey? NHL news, the Las Vegas Golden Knights have swept the President's Cup trophy winners in the Colorado, Avalanche to sit and wait for this is their third NHL Stanley Cup Finals appearance in 9 years of their existence. 30% of the time they go to the finals. That is wild. That is wild. I remember when they became when the expansion team happened and they got to basically pluck people from their teams. And Jeremy, I don't know if you remember, they plucked one of the good Blackhawks. I can't remember what his name was, but they had a juice team from the start. It's not like anywhere else, and I don't know how the NBA or MLB does it, but when the NHL does an expansion team, they get to I think you get 5 players on your team that they can't touch, but other than that, they can pluck whoever they want and build their team. And they did it. They've done it third time. Nicely done over there. On the eastern side, the Canadians are losing to the Hurricanes 2-1. Going back home. Is that tonight? That is tonight at 8:00. So Carolina is going to be looking to take a commanding 3-1 lead. Meanwhile, Vegas is just going to be sitting there getting all nice and juicy. Have you been watching any of the NHL playoffs, Jeff?
Not really at all.
It's such a good, man. NHL playoffs are one of the best things. If you would have seen this goal that I can't remember who did it from the Vegas Golden Knights, it was I think it was game 1. Dude, he just juked everybody out in front of the net. Oh, I get all warm and fuzzy just thinking about it, Jeff. Just warm and fuzzy thinking about it.
It's interesting that Hard Rock doesn't have futures on stuff. The
Hard Rock sucks. Hard Rock sucks, dude. It could be the worst app out there, the worst betting, the worst odds, the worst everything, Jeff. And we're just locked in down here in Florida. We're just locked in. But what are you gonna do? Some other PGA changes. The 3-time on the pre-show was saying something about one of the PGA executives has been ousted. Jeff,
yeah, that and I mean, Liv folding up, and
it's still going for now.
Lot going. It's done.
It's still going.
Tyson, they're done.
Are they still playing?
They are. They're finishing out the season.
There you go. Then it's still going on.
They're done.
They're done at the end of the season. They're done at the end of the season. So does the Live season correlate with the PGA season?
I think they end around the same time.
Nice. So then starting next year, they'll all go back to the PGA. Nicely done, everybody. So what is this that the executive got fired over the Ryder Cup?
I guess not only the performance of the Ryder Cup, but also the atmosphere of the fans and different situations that were not mitigated, and people felt unsafe. So
was this? I mean, the Ryder Cup's been over for quite some time, right? Almost a year now.
Almost. Got President's Cup. It's going to be coming up.
And we're just now making this change. Was this like an investigatory event, or what? Why now?
I don't really know a lot of the backstory of it. I saw the headline come across. I know Jeremy brought it up in pre-show.
Jeremy, why don't you throw your headphones on here as we wrap up? Anyway, let's get it straight from the 3 times mouth. I'm sure he's going to want to talk a little World Cup too, since the USA has finalized the World Cup team.
Yeah, which is interesting. I couldn't believe who they leave off. Diego Luna, is that who I saw? Got left off the roster.
Hold on. Let's get back there first, Jeff. Explain why now, Jeremy? Why now on the PGA moves?
So the PGA Tour president, Don Ray Jr., was ousted following the PGA Board's decision to suspend him, which was set to end in November. The reason they did it was because that a series of issues and controversies that accumulated with the breaking down point being from the Ryder Cup last year. He was heavily criticized for his delayed and dismissive response to unruly fan behavior at Bethpage. He initially compared the severe expletives and insults at the Ryder Cup to what you might hear at a, quote, youth soccer game. He also saw backlash from an awkward trophy presentation and a viral video of him doing karaoke on Saturday night while the USA team was losing, so they kind of just weren't happy with him.
So a year later, they decided to pull the trigger. I mean, I'll agree with you as far as I guess as the PGA with the Ryder Cup. That was an absolute embarrassment from the USA and the USA fans. Absolute embarrassment, the way that they acted, the way that they talked to the European players. And then they got the shit beat out of them. So, yeah, I completely agree with that one. Jeff, your thoughts?
On what now?
Oh, my goodness. Let's move on. World Cup is coming up, Jeremy.
I was actually just looking at World Cup lines. I had them up.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing a show here, but you know what? You do you. So the USA team is announced. I'm assuming was Polsak is the anchor of this team. Is he still on the team? What's going?
Pulisic? Yes.
Hey, I get credit for just knowing. Okay, a little bit about it. And I am sure I got my USA on here for Memorial Day, obviously, as well. Okay, thank you for all those people that made those sacrifice. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's cool.
So, talk to me about World Cup here. I mean, are we happy with the team? You guys are my soccer nerds. Let's let it rip.
Go ahead, Jeremy. I mean, your thoughts on Diego Luna not making the team and the roster that we've seen constructed so far?
I think it's poor. It's a poor choice to not have Diego Luna. Diego Luna has been the spark plug that the USA has needed in the last 2 years. He has. I mean, he at one point I forget which match it was last year. He might have been against Mexico. He got elbowed in the nose, broke his nose, came out for like 5-6 minutes. They plugged him all up, went back out and scored a goal in that match and kept us in it. Ultimately, we lost it, but that guy has. I hate to use the overtly used phrase, but he bleeds, red, white, and blue, and he's the guy that we needed. And unfortunately, he got left off. So did Tanner Tessman, who has been playing very well over with Lyon this year. He had a little bit of a muscle strain that they were worried about, but they said he would be fine. Aiden Morris also didn't make it.
Tanner Tessman?
Yes.
Tessman?
Yeah,
look at me spitting out names.
Yeah, he. We've had some other issues. Johnny Cardosa is going to be. He had an ankle injury, so we knew he wasn't going to play. But Tessman was supposed to be his replacement and played the last 6 matches actually. So we've got some real holes. I think the midfield is where we're going to see our biggest worry.
I see, some of the biggest winners here were Gio Reyna.
Gio's back. Gio had a very tumultuous 2022 World Cup. I don't know if you guys remember. Gio Reyna, his father is Claudio Reyna, who was a legend on the U.S. men's national team. Gio was supposed to be this prodigy, and our old coach was Berhalter, and his family and Gio's family grew up together, and Gio showed up to the 2022 World Cup and wasn't going through training well, wasn't showing up actively. He would show up, but he wasn't participating all that great. So Berhalter decided to bench him and told him, listen, if you don't start working out and training, you're not going to play. And all of a sudden it came out that there was a rift between the families, and there was things said by Reyna's wife about Berhalter's wife, and this and that, and this and that, and it went back and forth. And man, it was quite literally what took over the 2022 World Cup. Reyna has worked himself back into the good graces, and so now he should be a key cog to us. He hasn't played a full 90 for us in a little over a year, so he's more going to be a sub. He could start, but he won't play full 90. Good news is one of our former Orlando City guys, you see my Orlando City stuff up over here, Alex Freeman did make the team. He's been playing over in Germany this season since we sold him, but he made this squad, so that's good. Duncan didn't make the squad from Orlando City. He was on the short list. He just missed, but he also hasn't performed this year like they expected him to. So, but I think
to your point, I see over here that they talk about they didn't, instead of bringing in more midfield options, they decided to go with 10 defenders.
Yeah, we have a lot of defense. It seems like
I don't know a lot about soccer, but that just seems to be like
we're going to park the bus.
Yeah, and that doesn't seem like it's must-see TV.
No. But also, I just actually just read before we came on, the attorney generals from New York and New Jersey are subpoenaing FIFA for the ticket sale. Sorry, it's been a long week. I am exhausted right now. I just woke up before.
I have a 2-part question.
Sure.
Are you subpoenaing us, Jeffrey?
Sorry.
All right. So first thing I'm going to say, this will be a quick yes or no or whatever. You can expound a little bit. Do you think the fact of a guy like Duncan McGuire not making the U.S. national team is representative of the kind of soccer that's played here, because he is on MLS instead of being played overseas, and the experience that you get internationally?
I think Duncan is a serviceable MLS player, and unfortunately, the United States has not. I don't think we've invested enough into having a great World Cup team like other countries have. We don't have an academy like other players. If you look at like Messi, you look at Ronaldo, you look at guys like that. You look at Mbappe. They were hand chosen at a young age and developed. We don't have.
We've never had a soccer player like that.
They do. They have them out at Wide World of Sports that we used to see all the
Correct.
time whenever we would go, and
But
the kids playing out there and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, in the United States, soccer is a pay for play.
Yeah, I mean it's a rich man sport.
Isn't that everything?
It is.
Yeah, but like
soccer is more so than anything. You pay to get onto teams.
And
in other countries, you are selected by people that go out and scout and watch
correct
these younger matches and find kids. We don't do that.
You're trying to it being the national sport of whatever country you are as well too, and you growing up maybe in not the best of spots. It's a cog to get you out of whatever situation you're in.
Correct.
We here in America use basketball and football as that cog in a lot of instances as well, instead of focusing on a game like soccer.
I'd say it's all football and basketball.
Pretty much.
I mean, you look at Major League Baseball, it's all.
Do you think that, this is one of the first times at the USA in terms of bringing in a coach? It's been somebody who's international and not necessarily a part of the, I guess, the machine that has always been USA Soccer. And growing up in that, we kind of brought in an outsider here. Am I correct in saying that? For the first time?
Yeah.
And so do you think that being the first time that we actually have gone outside of what we've normally done, do you think that does also play a factor in what the selection of the roster is going to be in terms of this coach's viewpoint and the way that he sees us and a path to us performing well in this World Cup?
I'm sorry, before you expound on that, can I just ask real quick? So our coach is an American?
No.
So
first time we've done this, brother Tyson, every other country does the same thing pretty much.
I don't understand what?
You go get coaches that are good coaches. You don't care about what their nationality is.
Yes.
Most international teams will do the same thing. Now you have places like Brazil, and France and Spain and Germany and places like that have guys who are unbelievable, and that's why their
coaches are national.
It's so successful. You know what I mean? Because they came through the success of that. We haven't had that, but we've tried to piece it together here in the United States, and so we've finally gone outside of the United States to pick a coach.
Once more before you answer the question, I completely apologize. So are we thinking, though, while this is a national pride event, right? Like, I mean, the country is represented on the world stage. We want to bring it home. By bringing in a foreign coach, even though he's not going to share the same national pride based on the stage that they're playing on, his reflection of success will carry him in further ventures to further his career. So he's bought in just as much. Is that kind of the thought process behind that?
I think what the U.S. did with this is they said we're not good enough. We haven't had a leadership. We haven't had leadership from within. So they looked to Mauricio and said, bring your skill, your knowledge, your international.
I'm just saying,
knowledge.
what do you think makes that coach buy in to have the pride to win for the United States? Just because when he
was introduced, he said, listen, everywhere you go, soccer national pride is high in every country. He said he didn't think that, we have pride in our team, but he wanted to, make the U.S. not a laughing stock like we had been for so long. He said he wanted to instill it, even though he's not from here. He said, he takes pride in being able to bring the U.S. to another level. Not just the mid-level. He wants to bring them into the program
needed an overhaul.
We
it's
need
a
to know about.
beautiful spot on your resume.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
I mean, we've had Bob Bradley, we've had Berhalter, we've had all these guys who have come up through the UST.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bob Bradley led us for 20 years, and the biggest contribution he had was letting his son play midfield for 3 World Cups. And while Michael Bradley is a serviceable midfielder, he was not the player. And in fact, in his last World Cup that Bradley led us, Michael Bradley made the team, and he shouldn't have at all.
Well, it's kind of like what you were saying before. If we don't have, if we don't even have leadership at the highest level for soccer. So
Actually,
how are we gonna develop our younger players?
Actually, we're just a few months ago, the director of USA Soccer stepped down and took a job overseas. Literally, just happened. Probably like December or January. So
Turncoat.
Tommy. I mean, it's unfortunately here in the United States in soccer, we want to what can we do? We want to say, oh, well, we're so much better than we were 2 years ago. Yeah, we are, but we still started at the bottom of the bottom of the ladder. We're still only three rungs up. We've still got 20 more rungs to go to achieve.
It's not the American way.
No,
we wouldn't have made this World Cup if we weren't hosting it. I'm pretty sure, right?
I don't think we would have qualified if we had not.
Yeah, we would not have qualified for the World Cup if we weren't hosting. So like that's where USA Soccer is at right now.
Pay to play, baby.
And that's why they needed to go out and step out of their comfort zone in their box and have somebody come look at this from a 10,000 foot level and say, this is the problem that you have right now, and this is what needs to be done. And so I don't know if you ever got a chance to answer that because we kind of got a little sidetracked.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you think that the roster construction based off of us having the coach that we have now is maybe, while people are pushing back on it, I mean, this is something that we've missed. I feel like we've always done what the status quo has been. We've always like kind of whoever was supposed to be on the team, has kind of been there. This has been a small controversial situation. But just your thoughts on maybe where the head coach's vision is going through.
I think with the selections that were made, I think Mauricio is kind of going at he knows we're not going to score four goals every match.
Right.
We're not. We don't have that firepower. So maybe I think he might be looking at, okay, listen, let's get the one. Let's maybe get a second one. And then let's focus on keeping everyone else, parking the bus, unfortunately, which never works. But let's see if we can't play the counteroffensive game, because a lot of these defenders that we selected are excellent, like Alex Freeman, defender. But if you look at his time at Orlando City, his strength was defend, and then all of a sudden, as the offense was moving into a certain side, he would break off and boom, he would score. I watched many matches where he would go down the entire sideline and they would find him and boom, he's scoring. So we have scoring defenders because these guys were brought up to be scorers, but they've been moved into different positions and they've learned that position and they can do that. So I think maybe what Mauricio is trying to do is say, listen, sit back and we're gonna go counter. And I think that's the thing, like you say, like he's looking at it from 10,000 feet. He's saying, okay, play back here, and then boom, move here. So I think it's a good thing for us. I think we're gonna make it out of our
we'll make it out of our group.
Do I think we can make the round of 16 like we did 8 years ago? Possibly. Last 2022, we lost to the Netherlands. Netherlands is a great squad. And they've got some great players. So we absolutely deserve to lose to them. But I think this one is more set us up for the future. Set us up for 2030. And I think that's what we're looking at now is, okay, look, guys, there are players that have been on this World Cup for their third World Cup. Pulisic, he's supposed to be the guy that we wanted. He hasn't shown that. I think this might be his World Cup to say, you have to do that. Even though the pressure was on him in 2022 and he failed miserably, I think more so with Gio, with Haji, with some other guys, Falujan. I think if those guys can perform well up top, it will propel us to the next World Cup.
I love that take. And just put a bow on this. It does remind me a little bit of the team that we had. I want to say it was it 12 years ago that we had when we came out, and I believe it was Landon Donovan, last World Cup, Clint Dempsey, Tim Howard. It reminds me a little bit of that team where like they would just play their ass off and they'd somehow sneak in a goal one way or another. And I forget who it was. I think we beat like Haiti, or something like that. Or
that was the
who was it
90
that we
that was the
beat?
95th long ball. Oh, who was it against? I know
We
that
beat
was
at the very, very last
Yep.
minute. Like it's going to be those type of games where
I was in
it's
South
not
Africa.
it's not going to be high scoring. You're going to get 1 or 2 goals, and you're going to hope to be on top there. But I do think that it's cool that we're only 2 weeks out, something like that.
June 11th. So we are
yeah,
30 days past September, April, June.
Yeah, 2 weeks
So
out.
we got 15. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow.
15
Yeah,
days.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah,
exactly.
so we're 2 weeks out from the opener and the starter, and
we
I know
play on June 12th.
It's going to be an exciting time. And I look forward to being able to chop it up. And listen, Jeremy, we didn't prep you for any of this. We just literally brought you on and just started berating you with soccer questions and having you stand up for USA Soccer. And I thought you did an immaculate job, and you were very articulate and well spoken on the matter. So thank you for that as well too.
Ooh.
Wow. I get some flowers today. Thank you.
Oh, Jeffrey. He's not just a behind the scenes guy, everybody. He
Love it.
knows everything. What's the guy on Get Up that does the questions? It's not obviously not Stump the Schwab. I can't remember. Whatever.
Okay.
Stump the
Great
Schwab.
show, by the way. You know, I watched Jeopardy the other day. I haven't watched Jeopardy in forever, and I sat there and watched it with the kids. We kicked back and watched an episode. What a great show! You know, I feel like that should be in everybody's.
Did you see Mina Kimes, your girl one? When she was on?
Did you see
She
my
did.
other girl?
She reminds me of this girl in high school that I went with, and that was literally high all the time. Smoked weed just nonstop, but was smart as shit.
What's her name? Red Sox fan. She's with the comedian. She was on it as well too. She's like
Katie
really well
Nolan?
known.
No, not Katie
Huh?
Nolan. Not
Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan was on the final.
Katie
as well.
Nolan is a Cardinals fan, by the way.
And
Huge
Katie
Cardinals.
Nolan.
The uninformed fan.
I thought she was a Red Sox fan.
Cardinals. Grew up in St. Louis.
The uninformed fan.
So, but she was in the final of Jeopardy, and they all asked them one question at the very end, and Katie Nolan bet 0 because she wasn't 100% sure and positive about the answer. She got the answer right. Mina Kimes got the answer wrong, but wagered less so that she beat Katie Nolan by like a couple $100 or something like that. So, yeah, listen, I just think, especially in the world that we live in today, obviously you can get AI to answer everything, but it is nice to be able to have that stuff off the top of your brain as well too. So
Next 10 years, everybody's gonna be dumb as hell.
it's
Dumber.
already
Dumber.
we're already
That's my
we're
bad.
right there. Yeah.
We're turning
Yep, it
into
is.
Wally.
All right. Anything to shut us down with? Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns?
No, I will. Can I give a quick
nice to
shout
be
out
back,
real
though.
quick? My boy Dustino over on Pop Sports Network, back to doing Friday shows, but he's been putting out some plays out there. And so he's been pretty spot on. So if you're looking for a guy to be able to follow, and just some little baseball props that he loves. It's funny. Yesterday he had the New York Yankees team total over 3.5 runs first 5 innings. They scored 4 at the top of the first. Didn't have to sweat that one. The other one was the Philadelphia Phillies over 3.5 total runs for the game. I think that hit in the 3rd inning. So,
The Yankees went 15-1.
huh?
It's crazy. It's crazy you
Yankees
say
went
that though.
15-1.
It did hit. It did hit in the 3rd inning, and they never scored another run.
And they never scored another run again. So he had 2 that were like that. 2 days
He had a good
before.
weekend. He had a good weekend too. I follow him. Yeah, I watched him on Friday.
Yeah.
and
So
Saturday. He had some-
listen, if you want to, it's a fun follow. Go out there, look at Pop Sports Network. Look for my boy Destino out there. Last thing I got.
Absolutely. Well, that's gonna do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. We back next Wednesday.
I'm available. I can also do a little bit more World Cup in depth, if you want to, or we can hold that for 2 weeks because the World Cup starts on the 11th. We can do June 10th and talk a little more World Cup and see the groups.
Because the finals start the 3rd.
Oh yeah, because they're
That would be we'll be back then. We'll do that then because that's the finals start. The Stanley
night.
Cup finals will start as well,
Stanley Cup
and
final. No
World
less.
World Cup will be going on starting it that week as well, right?
The week after, 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it. If you happen to be driving over this week, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane. Justice, we're coming over to your crib for the WNBA party.
Be great. Me and